What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm in the process of trying to get the headache rack here off of the old truck in order to put on the new truck. And so I've got everything already taken loose. They had this wiring harness up here. I took these bolts loose and I just wound up cutting. These went to, they're just the extra air hoses. They go to the back of the truck back here to the pintle hitch. And you just hook your red and blue up to these was the idea. That one's been broke off and they put another one on there, but anyway, you hook those up and that makes your air lines come to the back of the truck back here. Right there is all that's for. So I don't have any of that on the new truck, of course, so we don't need to worry about any of that. So I could not get these U-bolts loose, so I just wound up cutting them in half with the Matabo blade on the grinder, cut-off wheel on the grinder. And so it's just sitting there ready to be lifted up, taken off. So that's what we're about to do. We're fixing to see if we can pick this thing up here and at least get it off of this truck. I don't know that we're going to do anything else with it today, but we're going to at least get it off this truck and then go from there. Alright guys, I've got to get my gap right here between the exhaust. On my other truck, they had it pushed all the way up against the exhaust, and you can see it's rubbed through this headache rack on the back side. I don't keep anything in these boxes anyway because I don't even have a key to them. But I just want the headache rack up there for protection, just in case you have to hit the brakes hard and you slide stuff up. It does protect the cab, protect you a little bit. Gives you a little extra chance and keeps from damaging stuff. And I also use it to climb on when I have to crawl up on top of a load of lumber to tarp it, whatnot. I'll climb the headache rack. So anyway, I'm going to measure off of this pole right here. I decided to leave that pole there. I've got to reroute my airlines. I got them hanging to get them to come through to work where they don't rub on anything and everything. But I'm just going to measure and get me a little gap off of this right here. And I've got some new U-bolts in there that I'm going to grab. And for those of you who don't know, these U-bolts is just about impossible to get off whenever they've been on there for a while, because they're springy, because they're so long. So you try to use the impact wrench, your impacts from your impact wrench is absorbed in the bolt springing like this back and forth, and it just about won't take it off. And I tried a 3/4 inch drive ratchet and everything, and it looked like I was going to be there for about half a day doing it. So that's why I just cut the bolts off, ordered some brand new ones, and it's probably a good idea to put some new ones on there anyway. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get them opened up, get this thing measured, get it in place where I want it, and get it bolted down. All right guys, I wanted to share this with you. I found these U-bolts and stuff here on Amazon. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. If you order the kit, a headache rack mounting kit, you get all of this stuff here, these big pieces here, and you get these little plates of metal to go on your frame to keep from crushing it with a U-bolt. But I already had this. All I needed was the U-bolts. So I ordered just the U-bolts, and this U-bolt kit is made by Buyers, I think is what it said, but it was like a little over $40. If you buy the whole headache rack mounting kit, it's a little over $100, and that's a different brand that they had on there, but that's about generally what they run for. But as I say, you get these pieces here, get these 4 pieces, and then you get the little rubber strip that goes between your frame and the headache rack over there. But I already had that off the old kit. What I really needed was some U-bolts, and so these here are obviously a whole lot stronger. Those are like 2 inches tall, and they're pretty thick metal. I don't know, looks about like 3/8 versus these little cast pieces here that I'm sure will bend or break or something. I don't know, they may be decently strong, but anyway, so these look better to me. That's what I'm going to use, and I already got the plates of metal. So I just thought I'd share that with you. If you're removing a headache rack off another truck and you don't need this, you can just order the U-bolts. These U-bolts are covered with oily coating or grease or something when you get them, so make sure you have a can of brake clean or something to kind of wipe them off with, so you don't get quite as nasty. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Most people mount these down on the front side so that you don't catch your foot or anything on them, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to just mount them this way so it'll be easier to get to. I'm sure somebody will ask, so I'll go ahead and put the measurements of these U-bolts on here. They're about 3 9/16 inside, and that makes them about 4 7/8-ish on the outside. So it's supposed to be about a 4-inch center, I suppose. And from the end of the thread to the inside of them is going to be about 20 inches. So whatever you want to call that, that's what they are. And I believe they are 5/8 diameter. Maybe 9/16. One or the other. There's some rust on the bottom of this rubber that came off of the other truck's frame. that's stuck to it, that's not wanting to let this headache rack sit down flush. And so that's what I'm trying to get off right now. I don't know how much I'm going to get off though. Oh yeah. See the rust there off the other truck's frame. Now maybe that thing will sit down there flush like it's supposed to. Alright, so we're going to have to cut about 1 inch off of these top of these bolts in order to get the socket to go down. That's the deepest socket I have. Either that or try to tighten them with a wrench, which is not going to work very good because you can't get much of a swing because of the way that U is. So we're going to cut 1 inch off of these bolts so that I can get them a little tighter. Or somewhere in about that range. lot, but really wasn't too bad. Alright guys, that's got it done. That's got it mounted up there. I've got to pick up a thing to hold my air hoses. On my other truck I had one of those deals that both your air hoses go in. I can't talk today. But it clamps around both air hoses. It's got a spring thing on it and it'll hook up there on the headache rack. That's the way I had it before. I was going to take that one off, but when I went to, it's corroded up and the U-bolt thingy that holds it to clamp on the air hoses broke. So I'll have to pick up another one. I just got it tied up with torque straps for right now to keep it out of the drive shaft while I move the truck and whatnot. I've got a decent amount of clearance between the exhaust here, probably 2 inches right there, and so it ought to work good like that. I'm not going to bother with these. I've got the little pieces of catwalk right here for the other truck, but they went through the U-bolts and they have a bracket on the side of the frame, and the problem with them is they're not that great anyway, because they only come to right here and you still have this big gap right here that you could possibly step through. So it really does not do a whole lot of good, and they are kind of messed up anyway, and they always flop and stuff, and I had torque straps holding them down. But so I'm not going to worry about that right now. I may come back and do something a little different after I think about it, figure out if I want to do something here and make something wider. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, so I'm going to leave it alone. But at least we got a headache rack on there to stop any potential stuff, you know, coming into the back of the cab, or at least make an attempt.